I am appreciative that the president is being transparent about this. I would love it if he was more transparent about the human sex trafficking network that he was a part of, but you can't win them all.
Cameron's grateful that the president is being transparent about the Nobel Peace Prize and his desires for Greenland. Scott, what do you think about that?
You gonna let that sit? Are we gonna claim here on CNN that the president is part of a global sex trafficking ring, or?
Well,
I mean,
we're going to talk about the Epstein file. Scott, I will do the fact checking as we go along here. Repeat what you said about the global sex trafficking ring.
That Donald Trump was provably very involved with it.
Okay, we'll get to that later. I mean, Donald Trump has never been charged with any crimes in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. But
let's be adults here.
We'll talk about Epstein files later.
Let's be serious.
Satisfied?
Well, the president has showed off his accomplishments today, marking the one-year point of his second term. And over the weekend, it was interesting to see a crowd of people just erupting, seeing Donald Trump during a game in Miami. Look at this.
He held at the twilight's last gleam, whose brush rise and bright stars.
Yeah, they won't show you that on CNN or the mainstream media, but you can just see the crowd there just cheering, roaring in support of Donald Trump. CJ, can you talk to us about what you're seeing on the ground? Despite what we hear in the mainstream media, is there still a lot of support around for the president, or has it shifted?
There definitely is a lot of support for President Trump here in this country because of his promises kept and the promises that he's delivered on every single day of this administration. It's been an incredible 365 days of his presidency with many, many more to come. In the contrast there, I think is also important to note. Joe Biden went to the sporting events. What happened? They would say F Joe Biden. And it was so embarrassing that they tried to gaslight the American people or all of the world into believing that they were saying, let's go Brandon. It's completely night and day between this president and that president. And it's well deserved. This is a president, again, as I said, delivering for the American people every single day. The American people know it. And that's why they give him a hero's welcome everywhere that he goes.
Let's go, Brandon. I haven't heard that in a while. Now, a new Wall Street Journal poll published this weekend shows that Americans believe that Republicans are best able to address most major issues. This is from immigration to the economy, rather than Democrats. The poll found that Americans believe the GOP is the better equipped party to handle border security by a 28-point margin, I should say, 48% to 20%. And Republicans had an 11-point advantage on immigration as well. What do you make of this poll?
I think the American people are absolutely spot on. While the left, concerns themselves with figuring out how to create more transgender children in America, Republicans concern themselves with how to create more jobs here in America. And also, we've been working overtime to secure our border, to bring down crime, and to actually right the wrongs of the previous administration. And the American people have reacted very positively to that work. The Republicans are the adults in the room. The Democrats don't even show up in the room because they're too busy in the streets trying to threaten the lives of ICE agents and burn America's cities down. And so I'm not surprised by those polling results, and I think that will actually be the very thing that propels to a better than expected performance for Republicans in the upcoming midterm elections.
It's interesting because while we have this poll, there's another one in CNN, and I'm keen to get your thoughts on the Democrat strategy for this year, because this new CNN poll suggests that the Democratic Party has a deeply motivated base, and it says an advantage on the ballot ahead of the midterms, despite, however, the dismal impressions of its current leaders in Congress. But the poll shows that Democratic voters are far more motivated than Republicans. Do you think that's true?
I think it's a wake-up call to Republicans that we can't rest on our laurels and just sit here and hope and expect that Republicans are going to keep the majority in Congress and do all that we can to expand a majority in the Senate. We have to do the work. We have to treat this midterm election just as if it's a presidential election, because President Trump may not be on the ballot himself, but his policies certainly are. If we lose this majority, he will be impeached. They will come at this presidency with everything that they've got, using the broad powers of Congress to do so. So we cannot let that happen. I understand, we're fresh off a win. We feel great. We are in the new golden era, but that will very quickly erode if we're not vigilant. So I hope it's a wake-up call, if anything. Even if you don't buy the numbers, use it as a wake-up call.